Realism is killing gaming by Game Explain. Without further ado, let's get busy. What are you talking about, bro?
So I've seen this tweet going around from user PainkillerQ8
Oh yeah?
asking the question which one of these four games looks the best. Then I saw a reply from Night Sky saying respectfully, this is why AAA gaming is imploding on itself. And you know
Dang.
what? He's right. Also, to answer the question, Horizon Forbidden West. These past few weeks I've come
Thank
out
you.
with videos talking about Nintendo and their place in the gaming industry today and why they're generally doing better than PlayStation and Xbox currently. The Switch is the
So you
best selling
say.
console this generation and the third best selling console of all time, despite being not nearly as powerful as the PS5 and Series X. And this also
Crazy.
tied back to a 20-year-old interview.
Let me tell you one thing about using old hardware for future games. It's not really good, especially in the era when we want nothing more than having 60 FPS for our games, bro. The minimum, not the top, like at the top of the top. Talk about the bare minimum. Anything lower than that is like whatever, bro. Like what we doing here, bro? With all this technology we have going on, why should we like keep on delivering low quality frames for like brand new games? Because we about to hit 2025, right? You expect me to like play brand new games, RPGs, fighting games, action adventure games on 30 FPS? You're bugging. It's the reason why I didn't think about getting Dragon's Dogma 2. Capcom, come on now, bro. I peeped at all the remakes for Resident Evil, bro. I don't think okay, but I haven't played any of them yet. Eventually, I'll say what I'm gonna say. So, for now, my stance is this: I don't condone having game to be 30 FPS off the gate. Unacceptable.
With the former president of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata, in which he talked about how game development just gets harder when you're dealing with more powerful machines, which really aged well because, as we can
Well,
see now with
okay.
the PS5 and Series X, there's a lot wrong here. Things aren't great. Starting with the PlayStation 5, it's honestly doing well sales wise, but still half of the PS4 user base has not upgraded to the PlayStation 5, and that can largely be attributed to the lack of exclusives. Most of the major
Yes.
PlayStation franchises like Horizon and God of War also released on the PlayStation 4, so there was even less of a reason to upgrade to PlayStation 5 unless you really care about better graphics. And even then, the rate that these exclusives are coming out is not nearly as fast as it used to be in previous.
And we gotta talk about the changes, right? I can barely see the changes from the PS4 to PS5 because the PS5, as far as I know, have old hardware generated from the previous generation. I'm talking about the PS4. So when I'm about to like, if someone even think about playing on the PS5, I gotta think to myself, hey, is that even worth it? Should I bother? I got PC. Why should I care about getting a console where it's just gonna take longer getting new stuff going on? And mind you, the PS5 Pro is out, so even with the exclusive that is like very small, bare minimum, nothing happened with it. Which is why I hated the fact that Square Enix failed with Final Fantasy 16 on the mere fact that it could have just gone to PC first and foremost, right off the back. But we had to have it exclusive for PS5, which is the only reason why I had no problem getting the PS5. However, things happen. I didn't get what I needed. I we got the game this year. I'm talking about FF 16 for PC, but it was too little, too late. The sales numbers compared to like the other Final Fantasies, like 7 or 15, it's bad. I think the numbers for FF16 was just 3 mil, and 15 had like what 10 mil. So that's like bad in Square Enix size, man. It's like that's not enough, bro. I thought it could have been more if it was like not an exclusive, bro. The exclusive killed 16, but you can argue the gameplay itself did, which I don't see nothing wrong with the gameplay. It's just like a dramatic change of pace from 15. With 15, it wasn't that much of as a generic RPG. So I don't know why people like keep complaining about that, man. It's just weird.
Previous generations. Sony even confirmed that there won't be a major PlayStation franchise released in this fiscal year, which just goes to show that they need to put more respect on Astrobot's name.
Oh
And
my
Xbox
gosh.
is also facing very similar issues, but also worse ones when they just shut down a few of their studios that they bought only a few years back. I'm still salty about Tango Gameworks because they had just come out with the highly successful Hi-Fi Rush, and that's also the antithesis of the games that we're going to be talking about
Let me
today.
play
The
that
games
game.
that just chase realism to the point where they take so long to make and they are ungodly expensive. Just thinking about this also makes me look
Yeah,
back at previous
that takes too much
generations
time.
and how, quite frankly, we were spoiled. For example, let's look at Naughty Dog's output on the PlayStation 3.
I think
We
we've been
got
like that for
Uncharted,
years.
Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, even The Last of Us. 4 games on one console. And then there's Xbox 360 with Gears of War 1, 2, 3, and Judgment. 4 games in one series on one console. Meanwhile, on PlayStation 4, their output, barring any remasters, was Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us Part 2. And with Xbox, it was Gears 4 and Gears 5. Even still, I'd consider that game output a miracle on this console generation. Now I feel like we're lucky if we even get one game per franchise per generation. Game
Wild
development has
stuff,
just
man.
taken so long these days, and that has to do with a number of factors, but I think a major reason for this problem is the chasing of graphical fidelity. If you don't believe me, just listen to Xbox Studios chief Matt Booty. He said last year that
Matt
both
Booty.
game players and the industry in general need to realize that most big games now have development cycles that take 4 to 6
Takes
years.
too damn long.
He specifically cited higher expectations for being one of those reasons, as well as the level of fidelity that they're able to deliver. And to that, I just have to play this clip from the illustrious Dr. Ian Malcolm.
Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could.
Realism
Don't
to make
care.
game development easier, not the other way around. Even God of War director Cory Barlog said that with more powerful machines comes more work for them. And that just makes me wonder, why do we even create new consoles if the work of game developers just gets harder and harder? And now we're apparently in the latter half of these consoles' life cycles. I feel like they just started. Xbox already said they're working hard on their next console.
And at that point, you might as well just work with freaking uh games for the next console, and the next console, and the next console. Forget about games for this console generation, bro. If anything, everything should be on PC. That's just me. But once that happens, demands from Steam, Epic Games, even Microsoft gonna be way more than they should be, and Sony would probably be out of the gaming market, man. If that happens, once why Sony is trying all it can just to make itself relevant, but times are changing, and Sony not gonna be the dominant force for long. And at this point, I don't mind Sony, taking a step back and just not being anybody's girl, you know. So if you feel like my actions on point, give me a like. I really appreciate that. Comment your thoughts on what the hell is going on. Subscribe for more of this content, bro. I really appreciate it, man. So let's continue on the video out here.
And I'm just like, stop. Just stop. I don't know why they keep giving these developers more and more power to work with when it's clearly making their jobs harder. Also, we can see 20 more pieces of stubble on some man's face. It all comes down to diminishing returns. We're getting to a point
Yeah, it's
where
not worth
graphical
it.
leaps just aren't impressive anymore. It
All
was
for the
very
bare
impressive
minimum.
back in the days of 2D to 3D.
Less than the bare
and the
minimum.
first 3 generations of 3D gaming consoles had impressive leaps between as well. But once we started getting to the PS4 and Xbox One era, that's where things started to be less astonishing.
Yeah.
Despite all the work put into these new
They'll
generation
swear that
games,
up and down
they honestly
PS4,
barely look
the
better
Pro,
than the last
and
generation.
PS5 is gonna
There
be
are some
mad
exceptions,
different, but like
with
hardly
Hellblade 2,
different,
which
bro.
is just a gorgeous game that I couldn't see running on a previous gen console.
And
but
it
came
didn't get
out
much
7
of-
years after the first game. So if
Yeah.
it takes that long to make games as beautiful but simplistic as this, then I don't want them anymore. Take them back. And you might want to tell me that long
Yeah, it's
game
mad
development
beautiful,
times is
but who
just a
cares?
reality we have to face.
At this point, you might as well make a movie, bro. Have y'all seen Death Stranding 2? I haven't played the first one. Well, eventually I will play it. Maybe on stream. I'll probably stream it. No, 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 fuck, no, no, no. There's certain. Actually, I'm gonna cut off the freaking music for that because last time I checked, there's like original music where it's like copyright crazy, bro. So you're gonna see my own music from other games, like we put it into the mix. But as for now, yeah, Death Stranding 2 is another big movie that Kojima is still making, and I'm liking it, bro. I want to play that game when I can. And at that point, yeah, like this is the closest way people making their own movies. It can't be on the big screen. Put it on the consoles. Put it on the PC. And at that point, it's like you're questioning yourself: is it still games? And most of this stuff is just movie based. It's weird.
Base, and we should be grateful that we even have games anyway. Let me tell you why long game development times are a problem. When you spend close to 10 years on one game, that's 10 years your company is not making a whole lot of money. Instead, you're spending
Obviously,
it all on just one project. I think a lot about Rocksteady and how long it took them to make Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
production,
And
huh?
that's not working out so well for me.
Yeah.
When games take upwards of a decade to
The
make
last
and
stuff.
cost over hundreds
What
of
I heard from Suicide Squad killed the Justice, and man, I can't believe I said that. That game alone, like that, it went through production hell from like redrafts, changing director, producer, I think, change of like everything. We brought on Sweet Baby, and that does you end up there ideology with like how big strong women doing their thing and blah blah blah, and it just mess up the timing to the point where it's a bad game. I guess it's a bad game. I'll probably like play it on like if I have a Game Pass, I'll peep at it. But overall, stinky, a big stinking game. I recommend no one to play that game. It's a waste of time. I recommend Marvel Rivals.
millions of dollars to create. Do you really think publishers want to take creative risks from that? No, they're going to play things safe. You're going to see a lot of the same types of games for years to come.
And that is bad by itself. Hold on. Anything else I could talk about? Cost, okay. Art direction is king. Hi-Fi Rush tragedy. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, sum her up. Hi-Fi Rush was clean. It's good game. For the sake of like having money, having their own direction, Microsoft shut that Tango Studio down for the sake of like more bread, more incentive. And no matter how good your art is, bro, it's still it's not the margin they're looking for, bro. Like even they have one success, you would think, hey, people want more of that hi-fi rush type game. But then again, if Microsoft solely just want Game Passes to be successful and just bring the money all to them, then how I don't know how you divide like currency when it comes to like the purchase when people play in the game and that purchase just like divided with the studio and Microsoft. I don't know how that goes. You know, it's like would the copies even be good because all the freaking new games will come to games to Game Passes and most of the like the purchase is gonna be on Steam, Epic Games, mainly on PC. I don't know much of Sony, man. So it's like, what do you do with that, right? What do you do with that? You want to see the rest of the video in its context? By all means, I had enough. It's not a bad video. I just think it actually like it was pretty informative when the rest of the issues of what is going on with like certain games going on. When trying to make anything realistic, everything just looks so whatever. It's like I miss games with actually games. When the fantasy is just fantasy, and I can dive deep into that, no problem, bro. Like I don't mind playing the original Resident Evil games with all their pixels and stuff like that. But then again, I do appreciate the whole of clarity of like realistic stuff like that and just having people do whatever they want. We have games like software or buildings of stuff like Blender, Unreal Engine, and other stuff. As long as you make the game good, it's fine. Look, have you seen mouth washing? Before I go, have you seen mouth washing? Never played that game. Personally, I just like watch the whole game on YouTube, and that's good enough as it is. But that game, the content in it, the quality, the storytelling in that game was so spot on that is like you don't even need high quality gameplay, high quality like graphics to enjoy that game, and people loving it. So yeah, I don't care about most realism games, bro. Fantasy is fantasy for a reason, and they don't have to be realistic for me to be relatable. It's not supposed to be relatable. It's fantasy for a reason. So once again, you like this kind of content, I really appreciate you guys giving me a like, comment your thoughts on the matter at hand, and subscribe for more content like this. And I'll see y'all later. So y'all be safe, be easy, and be chilled. Oh, and once again, if you really want to watch the video I reacted to, link in the description, man. In the description, bro. But yeah, personally, I don't care much about realism like I used to anymore. I just don't care. If the game works, it works. I want functional games, bro. If your stuff is realistic but it's buggy, don't care.